what you can see right here is there's this big game and chat piece, and you might be thinking, why would that be there? And the truth is, it's because this has audio drivers built in, and I did not expect that. This is the FIFINE AM6, and FIFINE sent it over for us to take a look at and to see if we like this microphone or if we can suggest it. We're going to see what happens with that. The AM line is something you're actually familiar with. They released the mixer, the SC3 mixer, the AM8 microphone that is pretty popular. A lot of microphones that they've released in items have the Amplagame title, and they're geared towards the creator who wants a little bit of flash, a little bit of RGB, ease of use, things like that. So we're going to see if that lives up to the hype. We're going to put it against a few other microphones that are also condenser mics. You're currently listening to the SM7B, which is a dynamic microphone, but we're going to put it up against some other condenser microphones, and I'll even have it compared to the Wave Neo in my full breakdown of this microphone in a later video. Make sure you subscribe to see more of that. Anyway, let's get it unboxed, plug it in, let you hear it, and we'll see if we like it or not. Oh, and before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor. And before I say that, we actually had an opportunity to actually lock down my credit because somebody was going to be applying for like some kind of loan on my credit, and Aura caught it. So huge thanks to Aura for that. Anyway, let's get into the sponsor.
Data brokers will sell your information to spammers, scammers, or anyone who may want to target you. Your full name, email, health records, your address, everything is out there. That's why I've been using Aura, today's sponsor. Aura shows me exactly who's using my information and automatically submits opt-out requests so that this information can get out of their hands. Cleaning up this information not only prevents spam, but also protects me from hackers being able to use this information to gain access to social media accounts, bank accounts, and so much more. It's really easy to set up, and I don't have to download several different apps to be able to do things like VPN, antivirus, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and so much more. I get everything at one affordable price. I value my privacy and I value yours, so go to aura.com/darkencyrus to start your 14-day free trial now. Once again, thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it.
All right, so here is the FIFINE Amplagame AM6, and we're just going to go ahead and unbox it and see what we get inside the box. Doesn't look like there's anything crazy necessarily, just a user manual, but you can get kind of a view of what it's going to look like here. RGB across the bottom, RGB also in the microphone grill itself. Oh, wow. Oh, so it just comes pre-assembled. That's pretty cool. Nice. Okay, so it's an all plastic body. It is kind of lighter. Okay, it's actually heavier than I thought it would be, but it is still light. Cool. It's got an integrated pop filter, which looks like it just pops off really easy and then slides right in. I'll do that one more time so you guys can see it. It just has these grooves on the side, real easy, and it has that FIFINE smile that's there. A big thing on the front, which is game and chat, and I'm assuming this is how you're mixing what's going through the headphone port. Not really sure why that's a huge knob on the front or why it's necessary. On the side, you have microphone gain and then the headphone volume, which should lead us to the bottom of the microphone, which right here, as you can see, is the headphone port, what looks like to be the RGB port, and then I'm not really sure what that is. Let me see what this button does. Yo, that's pretty cool. So that button, my lights are gonna blow this paper out, but that button is actually for noise. So what it says is press to eliminate surrounding noise. Indicator is blue, that means active, and if there's no light, that means it is off. That's pretty cool. So we actually have built-in kind of noise cancellation on here. I'm kind of curious to see how well that works. Maybe we'll play some noise just kind of to the side of it and see how that happens. And on the back, we have a USB-C, if it'll focus, a USB-C connection on the bottom. Sweet, easy. It does have a base that's included, and it unscrews. It is threaded for both a regular microphone as well as for this one. And yeah, I'm gonna say this one because I don't know what the thread is. But it is threaded to be able to go into a mic stand. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm gonna get it connected and see what kind of performance we have. Oh, I almost forgot. In the box, there is a USB-C to USB-A connector for you to be able to connect it to your computer. I'm not too happy about now is the last few microphones they've shipped with their cables have just been a USB-C to an A cable, but previous microphones, they had a C to A adapter attached, like actually attached to the adapter, so that you could be able to use USB-C on both ends, kind of like if you're going to do like a MacBook or a micro device that actually has USB-C on both ends. I'd love to be able to see that. FIFINE, bring back the USB-C to A to connector on here. I know you're trying to keep costs down, but those people who run Macs or laptops that have that spare USB-C port comes in clutch. So here's the microphone. It's already connected. And as you can see, it's got a really nice RGB piece to it here, not only just on the bottom of the microphone, but on the grill itself. I'm going to pull the pop filter off just so that you can see that a little bit better. There is a lot of RGB options here and a lot of just gradients that'll go in between. So here you have solid colors just fading in between. And I'm just going to cycle through them so you can see that. Not all of them have rolling RGB, like this one's just like a pink to a teal. And it kind of just stays there. So there's a lot of these gradients that are built in for you to be able to choose from. And then we get some solid colors, a lot of the primary colors, some whites. And then we can go back to kind of an RGB movement, pulse kind of situation, and then a fade. So there's a few things that I've already discovered with this microphone. And you actually, if you can hear it right now, I'm going to hold it. Actually, I'm going to put it on the desk. And I'm going to have my editor go ahead and switch over to this microphone. All right, so what you're currently listening to is the FIFINE AM6. So if what you're seeing right now is actually the overhead position, where I have it on the desk as close to me as I can, but using the included stand. And I have the microphone at 100% volume, both in Windows as well as on the microphone. And I'm about like negative 15-ish. Without any kind of adjustments or anything like that. I don't know what it sounds like. I haven't heard it yet. But there are a few quirks that I want to mention, and then we're going to get it connected, and then some really cool features that I feel like you guys need to know about this that I didn't know when I was unboxing it, but you've got to know it now. All right, so one, there is a mute at the top. It is capacitive, so you can just touch it. And it will mute, and it doesn't actually turn the RGB off, kind of like what the Quadcast would do from HyperX. It just turns a green light that's on the front to red. Here, I'll show you. So what you can see right here is there's this big game and chat piece, and you might be thinking, why would that be there? And the truth is, it's because this has audio drivers built in, and I did not expect that. So what does that mean? For those of you curious, there is stuff on this microphone, kind of like what you get from the like Wave XLR or any of those things. You actually have the headphone port for the FIFINE Amplagame. So the Amplagame AM6, which you're still hearing, and we're going back and forth between the SM7B and that, this has some cool stuff, and in your sound settings, there is actually an option for you to output stuff to a game channel as well as to a chat channel. So for example, like you could route your Discord out to FIFINE chat and have your system set to FIFINE game, and you can dial this knob to whether or not you want to hear more game or you want to hear more chat. That's crazy cool because there's no like drivers, there's no software that you need to install, nothing crazy, but you can separate them out. That is crazy. So to show that a little bit more, we'll go in here into voice and video, and under output device, I can choose the headphones FIFINE chat, which means that it's going to output all of my Discord audio to here. And now I don't have to use chat. I could set my Spotify to go out to that if I wanted to. I could set really anything. And for those of you curious how you're able to do that, at the very bottom, you'll see the volume mixer, and it'll pop up this area here. Well, you can see if I click Spotify, I have it going out to Wavelength Music right now. I could change that to FIFINE chat. And so it's going to go to that specific output to where I can dial it in between the game and that. That's crazy cool. For a $50 microphone to have all that included, that's actually cool. Now, one thing I have discovered that I do not like is this. The microphone, I just plugged in my headphones to the bottom, okay? It does not, and I repeat, it does not have microphone monitoring on from the start, which I am not very happy about. I wish that I had microphone monitoring just coming through. So if you want to do mic monitoring, you actually have to go in here under recording, find that microphone, which there's so many of them here. Here, I've got this one. You have to go in here, go under listen, do listen to this device, and choose your headset so that you can actually hear this microphone if you're gonna do mic monitoring. And there's gonna be a little bit of a delay because it's not gonna be instant. So I don't like that it doesn't have mic monitoring out of the box. I don't like that. So that being said, these are all of the features that I did not anticipate from this microphone, and actually recorded the intro not knowing this. It was a full, like, we're just doing a first impressions kind of thing. I didn't know any of this stuff existed, so I might re-record an intro just to be able to make sure you guys know about it. All right, so now I'm going to give it its best option. I'm actually going to put it on a mic stand and get it a lot closer to me, and we're going to test out this noise canceling feature that is on here that's also built in that I don't know if it's going to work well or not. I'm not listening to the recording. I'm going to let you guys tell me down in the comments what you think about it. So I'm going to connect it to that stand. I'll be right back. So here's the AM6, and I have it on a microphone stand right now, and I'm about 6 inches away from the front of the microphone. And as you can see, it actually looks really nice. And here's what you would have a difference if you put it on a mic arm and you got it a little bit closer to you. And honestly, if you're looking at microphone arms, go ahead and make sure you take a look at the next video that's going to come up. I'm covering 4 different low profile arms, including one from FIFINE, Mayono, Elgato, as well as InnoGear. All 4 of them sent me a low profile arm, and we're going to test them and see what the difference. There's a huge difference in price. We're going to see if there's difference in quality. This would be a perfect microphone for one of those. Anyway, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to do our sound test. I'm going to show you some audio samples from other microphones that are also condenser microphones that might be a little more expensive or a little less expensive. We'll have to be able to see what you think about that. We'll put the prices and everything down here at the bottom. And yeah, well, after we do those sound samples, we're going to do the noise isolation after them. So let's go ahead and do the sound samples. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline." Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline." Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline." The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline." Next, we're going to test the actual sound noise isolation on this. And what I'm going to do is, right now I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you listen to what's the natural sound of my room, and then I'm going to start turning some stuff on. So here's the moment of silence. I'll have my editor bump it up 20 dB so that you can hear what it sounds like with everything in the background. Oh, and by the way, this microphone has a pretty low noise floor, like -55 in my room. All right, I have an air conditioner in my room. Just turn the air conditioner on. I'm also gonna turn on some stream beats on my phone. This is stream beats from Harris Heller, the hi-fi playlist. It's just playing. I'm gonna leave it kind of lower volume. All right, I found the button, so I'm just gonna keep talking. This is the isolation is off, and I've just hit the button. Sound isolation is on. I'm still playing the sound into this from this microphone. This might be a really bad example, but I have music playing into it. There's an air conditioner on in the background, and there's still sound from this coming in. I'm going to turn it off so we can have the comparison one more time. It is off right now. Here's what it sounds like with the voice isolation or the noise reduction off. And then I've just turned it back on. Tell me what your thoughts are. I haven't listened to it, and I probably am just going to let you guys give me the opinion. Comment down below. Do you like this voice isolation, the noise reduction function that is on there? There's a lot of sound in my room right now. So the question is my voice okay? Does it sound okay? Does it like have good EQ? Does it sound like it's robotic-y? What are your thoughts? So I just got done listening to the the noise isolation, and you're probably hearing what I heard and that it's not good. This wasn't supposed to be like a long-term review. It's just a first impressions, and my first impression is that's hot garbo. That being said, with it off, I actually really enjoyed the sound of this microphone. I thought that it has a really nice rounded sound, and EQ'd, it's going to be a really nice condenser microphone. So I just wouldn't turn that button on if you're going to pick this up. It does have really cool functions with the dual drivers, but I would not use that at all. We did a microphone a couple years ago that had a similar button and sounded just as bad. So yeah, I guess in a pinch, if you need something like that, really loud situation, you could, but yeah, no, I would not do that. Awesome. All right, let's get back to future me. Oh, and also side note, the rest of the video, I leave the button on just so that you can have full transparency of what it sounds like. We're going to toggle in between the SM7B, which conveniently I left beside me, and the AM6. So yeah, we're going to go in between the two so you can hear how bad that noise isolation is. I'm not saying don't buy the microphone because it has a really bad noise isolation function. I think it's a cool gimmicky feature, but it's just that. It's gimmicky. Don't buy it because of that feature. So I'm going to leave the noise reduction or the voice isolation on, and I'm just going to do my final bits of this video and then talk to you about the stuff I like and do not like about this microphone so far. I'm going to do some testing and probably do a few streams with it after this. Number one, the biggest thing that I love about this is the fact that it has included 2 outputs for you to be able to send not only your game sounds or what would be considered your like system sounds, everything that a game or like a YouTube video would play through, and then also to have a chat function. So you could be able to plug it into Discord or wherever you're using chat and be able to control that with this front dial. I think that is huge that it's included on the microphone, and that big dial on the front now makes sense. Number 2, the RGB I think is pretty bright for what it is. I think it's probably just as bright as the AM8 and as well as the SC3 mixer. I don't think it's as bright as maybe the HyperX Quadcast S, and I wish they had a little bit more options that were already pre-programmed that were less of a gradient, and maybe just a full rainbow flowing effect would have been nice. I don't see those, but that being said, it does look really nice. Number 3, I also really like the capacitive touch. It is very sensitive, which is nice, but it's on the top. But a con with that is I wish it would turn off the RGB whenever you mute, so you have more of a visual understanding of whether you're muted or not, rather than it just being the green or red dot on the front. I wish you had that option. Another pro is the actual sound drivers themselves. The other microphones from FIFINE, like the AM8, the K688, the Tank 3, all use 44.1 kilohertz or 48K kilohertz, but they all run 16-bit sound. This one, on all of them, are 24-bit sound, which I think is huge and a big improvement. The regular consumer is not going to know the difference, but those of you who mix audio, you'll know the difference. But I love the fact that they're 24-bit sound drivers from this microphone coming in and for the microphone rather than 16-bit, which is what you were getting on the other microphones. So big improvement. I wish they would move that same kind of thinking to the other lines that they have. But I love to see that it's on this microphone. All right, let's talk about the cons that I have for this microphone. Number 1, it was crooked coming out of the box. Maybe I'll show you some B-roll right here where I actually attached the stand and it was leaning over just a bit. Not that that's a big deal. I just feel like that was a quality piece, and I think it has more to do with the stand that was included than this. Number 2, let's talk about the stand itself. It is kind of weighty, but
but it's kind of light. And I thought that it rattled at one time, and actually now that I'm doing it, the actual screw is kind of loose in here, but when it's properly tightened, it shouldn't make a sound. Just as an FYI, that's something that I noticed from a quality perspective.
The next con is actually the mic monitoring feature. I'm one of those people that I have to hear myself. That's the musician in me from so many years, actually using IEMs. I want to be able to hear myself either talking or, in that case, singing or playing. And so I just got so used to it. I love mic monitoring. Some people can't stand it, so this doesn't matter to you. But if you're one of those that like to have that, not having it automatically on out of the box and being a hardware function, I don't like that. So I wish that they would have had that just like they do on all the other microphones. The Tank 3 we just reviewed, the AM8, the K688, everything we've reviewed has mic monitoring by just plugging in the headphones. This one doesn't. And it might just be because of the other functionalities, which I think are a huge benefit over the mic monitoring. Personally, it's just something that I'm not a huge fan of.
The last thing is actually the pop filter itself. I love that they've included it, and I love that it's modular so you can move it around the microphone itself, but being a condenser microphone and having the open grills on the back, and it's still being cardioid, which means it'll pick up around the front and reject from the back. I wish that they had considered something just a little bit wider around the front, just because there's still a lot of sound that will kind of pick up from that cardioid pickup from the sides. If you're going to include that, I feel like that's a good thing. And honestly, the other part of it, I could do without having the face on the pop filter. Just give me one that's black, or even just put the FIFINE logo. I get that's the logo of the brand. However, I don't personally like the aesthetic of it on screen.
I'm not going to give you my opinion on how it sounds. We're going to do probably a new follow-up on all of these microphones that we're testing right now, because we're getting a bunch of them coming in. And I'll probably do a full roundup of how I like or dislike any of them and do a follow-up video. But what do you think? I want you to drop down to the comments. Do you like the voice isolation, the noise reduction feature? Does it sound good? Does the microphone sound good? And you're currently still listening, by the way, with the noise reduction and the voice isolation feature on, because I still have my air conditioner on in the corner. So does it still sound good or bad, or did I just ruin the rest of this recording and the editor had to switch over to the SM7B? And Anyway, let me know down in the comments if you like this microphone, if you like it just as much as the other ones, if you think it's a good value for $58 to get multiple sound drivers and have all this functionality and for it to look nice. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks, guys. Make sure you check out this video right here, and we'll see you in the next one.